about today. There's an indicator that I customized years ago, and it's basically every 15 minutes, it's going to look at the true range, and it's going to throw lines above and below as a percentage of the last true range. So it updates everything. And we're also cloud trading. So the way this works is the trend changes right here as far as the cloud's concerned. So buy stop, low ATR, buy stop, sell stop, buy stop, sell stop, slight trap. This is your top become bottom. And you broke out, pull back, cloud says we're going up for a while. Now it's filling this hole. Now you don't have to get on there. You have also the factor going on here is the in the bigger, this is 15-minute chart, right? So this would be wave 4. This would be your triangle. But if you're going to trade the strict ATR breakout, here you would have gone long. Had you babysat this thing, right? Here's the lowest risk entry on this whole chart. Right there. Very low. Buy stops are trailing above. You get filled. Not a great profit, but if you held, and these stops never got crushed, and you held over the weekend, this is Sunday night actually. You see this is Sunday night on this broker. Now they're just smashing through this, and they're hitting stops for people that are the bears. But you're buying, so in the stop world, you're paying attention to the cloud for, say, markets and stops. Now, on the limit world, I have an indicator called Spectrum, so I'm just going to upload the template and the indicators. You'll be able to run this the way it is, and there's some redundancy. I built the cloud in here, just kind of helter-skelter, just kept hitting indicators, so there's stacked ones in there that are really don't need to be there because I just kept layering up so I like the way it layered. So there's some redundant stuff in there, copies, whatever you call that. And you can take those out. You play around with the colors you want to the clouds that you want to trade. This is Smooth Akanashi. And the other one was a support and resistance thing. You can see the original code in there. Variations of Spectrum in there. I have all sorts of craziness in there, I think. This one's just called Spectrum. You'll see it when you open up the indicator list. Come in here like this, and indicators, you see this is a huge, a lot of math your computer's got to do, so be careful you don't run this. It's going to take a lot. Look at your task manager to see how much this thing is running, because it really runs hard. I just reloaded the template. It's called 1. So it's calling out the percentage. The horizontal spectrum is putting in support and resistance based on a percentage of the last 15 minutes. Look how it calls it, though. Look at this holy grail shit. Now, this is just proof in the pudding of, random lines are as good as Fibonacci. It's all in your fucking head kind of thing. Look at how it just keeps coming back to this. Coming back to you. Jefferson airplane. Look at that. Top, bottom. Man, look at this. You got sell limits up here. Based on the 15-minute. Now, you're not going to get filled like on this thing. You're going to run if you're really into this shit, you're going to have a 15, a half hour, 1 hour, 4 hour system like this. Just giving you percentage, standard deviation. It's like Bollinger Bands without, it's just a horizontal. Like you can just, horizontal support and resistance based on expansion percentage. That's true range. And just play it on the weekends. If you got a spare computer, just run this thing on a laptop. Take a look at it. Ask yourself, if I had a gun in my head, would I buy here on this pullback? Now, granted, this is a 15-minute chart, and would I have the balls to place orders above and below on these lines that I see on my chart? This is telling you where to place the orders too. Put sell limits up here. Sell limits. Oops, didn't get filled because it deleted itself. If it's a 15-minute script, the whole point of this system is you've got to delete orders that are like, there's not a lot of risk in putting a buy limit for 15 minutes deep, this deep percentage-wise from the ATR. What's your chance of getting filled down here? Ooh, my indicator called the bottom again. That's what I'm talking about. Right here, look at that. See, random lines. Random lines. Look at this. My indicator called top, bottom. Dude, you got magic numbers in there? Not really. Actually, it is Fibonacci, in a way. I got 10 marked here, 16. These numbers are accurate percentage-wise of a percentage. I don't know what it is because I'm just saying I'm at the negative 21, and it's like this is like a power meter. And see how look at called that top. I see what you're saying about that fucking. Look at. Oh yeah, I can see that. See, it's all in your mind. Life's a Rorschach test. It's all in your mind, man. 15 minutes sell limits up here. Maybe these are going to last for an hour. Now, the Goldilocks factor. Got buy limits here on the 4 hours. And every time they move, okay, deeper. Let's go deeper. Right? Look at how it's calling out this thing again. We're still holding this. Now, you can get Epic Pen for free and draw over that. Imagine all those. Look at how this thing's like, oh, it's managing that right there. And now it's like, well, it's a little bit higher now, but now you got sell limits up here, and maybe it lasts for 4 or 8 hours, right? You're at work. You're like, oh, no, I got a volatility projection. You're projecting volatility percentage-wise off the last known. You only know the last thing that happened. And once the dynamics kick up, you can only imagine that this bar back here created a giant placement, cycle-wide placement. You can change, you can put forward slashes in front of these. You can just trade inside the blues. You can make these, when you open the code, you can make these different colors. There's no secret here. This is not, you decide how close you want to trade to the market for how long, right? Now you're getting filled on sell limits, sell limits, sell limits. Oh, you just see, you have to have built into that a scalp. Oh, we getting filled on these 4 hours. I still got the 4 hours orders in there based on my stupid ass martingale grid, right? I got limits down here now for an hour. Now we're starting to get some price action. Talk about price action. A pin bar is going to create a giant, telling you to put now sell limits again up here. Not to mention, this whole time this is going on, you need to have your stop entry plan going at the same time. You cannot get the stop entry plan going because the thing's too violent. You're playing the limit game now. Now you have insane ATRs from that last 15 minutes session. I don't know how, it must be looking back to this bar. It must be looking back 3 bars. I'm not sure. Because look at that. That's the widest it's ever been. Now, are you going to get filled on these? No. Right? They're adapting to the current conditions. Right? You're adapting to current conditions here. I got to fix the scale again because I reloaded the template. I reset that. So I want to be able to see. So this is the problem with the trading, is that people aren't ready for this volatility. Now look how it's magically calling out this bottom just before it races. Look at that. It was right here for a second. Now you've got buy limits on the whites. Maybe you just trade these are your limits. But maybe you hand place. Since I can't connect this to an EA. But if anybody knows how to do it, then you'd have to do that. This is literally 9, 19. You could set this to whatever you want, Fibonacci. You could trade it in the 5s. I buy -5 and I sell -5 on limits every 15 minutes. Or maybe you set it to the 1 hour thing, or maybe you set it to the whatever have you. But at least you know, and you could take those limit grids, and if you have enough money in your account, you would place them smack dab on here and would cover this much of a range right now. You'd be getting filled on that bank right now. Then you got another bank that comes in here because of these, and maybe this is the 4 hour. But at least you have a methodology based on some kind of logic, right? of what you know to be true. So you always have your sell limit here. Maybe this is a 1K and this is a 3K and this is a 10K and this is a 100K. Because when it gets up here and you have a 100, you hand place on top of this indicator. So since you can't, I haven't been able to make this into an EA. If you know how to do it, then you're going to make a ton of money. So, because it makes sense, right? And look how magically, these completely random numbers. You can make any look at, oh, geez, call the top there. Yeah, but what did you do about that? Do you have a buy limit down here? I would, right? This is calling out the buy limits. Now you're getting filled. Really filled, right? And your stop, if you have a filter for your stop entries, you are playing the pure limit game today. Look at this fill. Does it get any better than that? And you've got a reason to have that there for how long? I'm buying this whole thing right now in limits, right? This is a fresh playback for me. I don't know what's going to happen. So we just loaded the wagon on that white. Okay, that could have been a standard lot on white. Okay, you're scalping out. There's stuff built in that you're scalping out of that. Now everything quieted down. I don't know how far back it's looking, but because I'm noticing that last one is a huge move. So maybe it's looking back 3 bars. Now we're getting filled on these limits on the 15. Okay, now giant move, right? No, it is based on the last thing. That was a giant move. That was the biggest move we've had. Now you're still buying on the 5s and you're buying on the 9s, right? Now you're really buying it. Wait 15 minutes. Oh, I gotta get back into fixed scale mode here. Okay, you just got filled on those whites for the auction trade, and they just stop hunted the whole low of the day. Right? Did it matter? Look how this thing calls the low of the day. Now the actual pivot is in between. You can mark it off as 0. You can make the pivot, but what there really is there's 3 here. Then we have the top blue, and we go to white. So it may look confusing, but there's 5 handles here, and the center is the last known pivot. So it's saying, where are we at now? Where could we go? Where would your orders go? We are long here. We're hog long into that, especially if you overlaid the 30-minute bot with different percentages, the 15-minute, the 1-hour bot. Those guys are all, it's telling you, put those orders in there, put a power pack down here, right? Now you have to wait for that to retrace. And you're long on stops right now with your stop bot. And the 15-minute stop bot should be long. Every time he sees a low ATR, he will be short here. So you're short into this. Look at this. You're short on your stop bot. Stop bot's running at the same time. You can't trade pure limits, but there will. The market's telling you you can't do that order because the ATR's exploded. But you see here on the sell, low ATRs, the sell bot's coming in here. He can't trade these big wicks. He can only trade this buy stop, sell stop. He's long. You're long on limits. You got in the auction. See how that is? The trend says down, but is the trend your friend forever? No. Besides, the other robot come and took over. The limit guy's trading on top. So you're long on limits now. And you got limits here the last, say, 15 minutes. Or a half hour. 15 minutes, half hour. So that's the thing. How long do they last? Do you have the balls to put a sell limit right here on the white? Well, you'd have to just say, okay, 15 minutes I can handle it. Maybe not 2 hours. 2 hours from now, that may be a problem. Because if I have a sell limit here, right now the ATR bot's on board on the half-hour ATR bot's placing buy stops here and sell stops. Right? We can see what everybody's doing. Okay, you got filled on sell stops. You just got filled on a buy limit. You're building a position here. This is going to go all wackadoodle. They trap. Now you're slightly up on this, and you haven't got filled on your other chart that's running strictly 1 hour buy stops. You're stacking up here. This is Goober trading here now. You're trapped below auction, unfair values. You're looking to get back here. Look how this thing was calling out that perfectly for a moment. Look how it has this wick nailed, right? It's all bullshit. It's all in your mind. That is all those Gartleys and all that shit is bullshit. If you deny the ATR stop entry system and trade pure limits, you're gonna not blow up your account, but you're not gonna get the fills you want. You'll only be a limit trader. You'll only be an ICT limit trader. I understand ICT doesn't trade breakouts. You have to trade at the market breakouts. You have to trade, accumulate this area, right? Is this a trap? This is the 15-minute chart. Have they trapped people below here? They trapped a lot of people. The sellers they trapped and the buyers. Have they nicked the top of the range here and trapped the people on the 4-hour? Not yet. We know what the 4-hour chart looks like, don't we? It looks like a doji on the 4-hour with a little baby wick, right? Spinning top on the 4-hour. You got to picture that. You don't need to go 4-hour chart. You don't need to go there. You've accumulated underneath here all those tickets. Imagine those are all your tickets you're holding. You just went long on your ATR bot on the 15th. See that? And you really loaded the wagon here. You know why? Small range. That is a button you press. Small range pullback, top bottom fair value entry. Here's the breakout. Is this a retest pullback before we really go up, or is this going to engulf and crush? That's the only question now. Hopefully some of these limits have cashed out into the sell limits. If you're trading sell limits off this is where we got to overcome that. The sellers came in off that, right? Now, here comes the big boys, right? The people that, you know what? That's a real breakout. Or they're going to play it as if this one. If they're right and this vacuum starts to fill here, they're going to cash out here, and then there'll be all sorts of chances to get in on pullbacks, right? Double bottom. Have they trapped them? Have they trapped the 4-hour guys on a breakout here? We don't want to go to the 4-hour chart to answer that question. We should be able to see it right here. We know where their stops are. We know where their protection is. Right? That's what their view of the market is. For the so-called big boys, are they going to stop hunt maybe to this wick and you got a limit there? They could. This could go on for, I've seen that go on for like 16 fucking hours of this shit. Then the market makes a move. We're coming into the close of the session too. Complete fizzle. Nothing ever happened. This is the end of the market. We're coming into Asia now. Now, the 4-hour guys have been trapped. We can see that. Now, if you're in this thing really big, you're going, holy shit. Is it going to go up or down? Now, your ATR bot came in here and started selling right in here. You see those sells? He scalped it here. No worries. He scalped it here. Now you're buying on limits. So people can't handle being slightly pregnant. People cannot get their brain around being in a hedge. You're in a downtrend. You're selling every one of these. Now you're buying limits. You have to be multi-dimensional. The market is. Look at, they just went auction on you. Right into Asia. They just made a new low. Trapped everybody. Your ATR bot went long there. See, you're very big here. This is like a trade here. This would calls for a huge ticket because the ATR is smaller. Big tickets here. Big trend trade. Good. When buying lightly on limits. Now now everything just scrunched up. You're long here on the breakouts. You're long on limits. You've cashed out to the floor now. Do we keep tanking? Looks like low ATR. You just ran a breakout strategy here. Now you're long on limits. New lows you're buying, right? ATR just got triggered. You're long on limits. You're short on stops. You're short this whole thing down. Are you cashing out and going the other way? Can you handle the compromise? Can you handle a compromised position? Nobody wants to be in a compromised position. Everybody wants to be in a safe space. Nobody wants to risk any money. The ATR bot is killing it. The Goober bot got in so fucking hard here. He had 4 signals. He fucking scalped that. The limit guy's getting in. The bigger these are, the shallower the targets. You need to trade that. Okay, now you're already up in your account probably, right? Now these limit orders, you're underwater. You had enough money in your account to be swing trading those. You scalped into a buy. Now you're holding. Now you got sell limits coming in. You play the whole game over again. You're waiting for a low ATR. The cloud just went by. The cloud just says we're going long. Looking for pullbacks, small ATRs now. This was absolutely no cloud. It was just literally, okay, now you're cashing out on your limits. You've cashed out on this low ATR breakout. You got to picture this all happening. In a nano or micro way, you're in on this trade because of that. You're doing everybody else's trade. You're doing everybody's good trade, right? Those guys cashed it here. Here's your low ATR. Robot just scalped that move. The cloud's going up. You're still long on swing orders from here that had the real greedy targets. So you have the swing and you're scalping around your position. Okay, now sell limits here. Are cashing out up here, right? Huge ATR in the last bar. Now we're seeing an expansion in our order placement as far as limits go. There's no chance to get on the ATR train because the bars are too big. Now you go in a pure limit mode and you ride whatever profits you're in right now. Right? We're talking this now. This is why people are blowing up their accounts. They're not. Now look at this. Complete scrunch down. The ATR bots are coming in. You have a buy stop here. Sell stop there. ATR bot is taking that trade. The cloud says buy. This is... maybe you're adding to your position. And now you just scalped out of something because in that script was a scalp. And you're still riding this thing. Now you got trailing buy limits. You got sell limits or cash outs, right? Adapt to the ATR is what I'm saying. I'm posting this as indicator and a template, and they should load. Those two files I'm put on Hightail. And the link in the bottom of this video. This is my Frankencator.